Oppo's own UI that they put on top of their Android phones just received an update not too long ago, ColorOS 6. Now, full disclosure, Oppo did send me the Oppo Reno and told me to check out ColorOS 6, and I've been using it for a bit now, and I have to admit there are a few things in it that I'm really excited to see they finally added, and actually I kind of enjoy. So, in this video, let's really quick go through the 5 best features of ColorOS 6. Now, firstly, the overall UI design is much more subtle and minimalistic than previous versions of ColorOS. The majority of the apps now have this simplistic white background with subtle gradients, which is much more in line with current design trends, really. There's a new layout engine that automatically adjusts the line height, paragraph spacing, etc. to make things just more readable. We also have circular icons now that are also more in line with flat design language, much like Android's own material design, and they're less cartoony, bubbly than previous versions. Even the wallpapers have been updated with a much more modern art style, so overall, just a better look in my opinion. Now, if you're a fan of navigation gestures, ColorOS 6 has you covered regardless of which ones you like. Just go to settings and search for navigation keys and you'll see the plethora of options. You can literally have the pill and back button from Android P and even customize it more than Android P lets you. Maybe you want swiping up from the bottom to control everything. Swipe up from the left or right to go back, swipe up from the middle to go home, and swipe up and hold for a second to get to multitasking. Sounds good. Maybe you want swiping in from the sides to go back. Sure. Show the navigation buttons or hide them on any of these options? No problem. And if you want the virtual buttons, you can even customize those as well. And since Oppo is coming out with more and more phones that actually have full screen displays, and that's kind of the trend we're seeing across the board, it's actually pretty nice to have so many options to maximize that screen real estate, obviously. Now, something else they customized in ColorOS that I find useful is the ability to mark notifications as unimportant, and they then are sectioned off so that they don't bother you. Now, whenever you get a notification, you can swipe left on it and tap on the gear icon to get to more options for the notification. In here, you can select Mark as Unimportant, and now, whenever you go to the notification shade, you won't see it shown immediately. Instead, you can tap the bookshelf icon at the top to see all of the unimportant notifications and then tap it again to get back to the ones that you really care about. Now, I'm also a big fan of using Android messages in Gmail and being able to swipe away messages to snooze them to come back later. This way I don't have to deal with them now, but don't forget about them like I tend to do if I just mark them as read. It turns out that in ColorOS, Oppo added the same feature for all notifications, which, because of the above, I am obviously into. Now, another feature that's pretty cool is their Smart Assistant, and basically this is their own assistant section of the home screen that you can get to by swiping over to the far left that's actually really customizable. In here you have a universal search at the top that can search through messages, emails, files, etc. And then you can add or remove widgets that can bring info to the screen to be able to view important things at a glance. Now, options for what you can put in here include a calendar and weather widget, which give you quick access to your calendar events and the weather for your location. Quick functions that let you add shortcuts to apps or even actions from apps for things like scanning a business card, opening the calculator, etc. Smart Scenes services, which in here you can add things like your calendar apps to have it automatically display events from each as those events get close. And permanent services. Now, these are apps that are always displayed in the Smart Assistant that you can customize which ones are displayed and in what order. Think things like a step tracker, shortcuts to your starred contacts, photo albums, etc. And the last feature I think is really interesting. ColorOS 6 has some pretty intuitive extras for gamers. First, we have Game Space, which is a specific app that you can open and add any games that you want to it. You can then launch any of them from here, but the bigger benefit is that any app in this section, you can then use their Hyper Boost feature, they call it, and it'll automatically allocate resources to make the game run faster, like CPU, GPU, and RAM. You can even choose between 3 different modes: competitive mode to give you that increased performance, balanced mode, or low power consumption mode to give you more battery instead of performance. It will also make sure to prioritize the data connection that app has too, to reduce lag and give you options to also adjust performance or battery life for that game and even lock the brightness while playing it, etc. And then there's Game Assistant. Now, once playing the game, you can swipe in from off the screen where that small tab is and bring up a drawer that allows you to turn on and off notifications and phone calls, and even see if you have notifications for the messaging apps on your phone, which is handy if you turned off notifications but just want to check really quickly on your own if a message came in. You can then tap on the messaging apps to have them open in a floating window that's also resizable, respond, and then close them without leaving the game. And there you go, my 5 favorite features of ColorOS 6. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have your own favorite features of ColorOS, if you guys like ColorOS, let me know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you guys. Otherwise, if you like this video, please thumbs up it or share it. It's greatly appreciated. Also, head over to the channel if you like what you see there. Please subscribe and ding the bell next to subscribe so you get notified when I do new videos. Also, there's a link below in the description to sign up for my weekly email newsletter. It has all the videos that you see here, but then also things that are on the website that don't necessarily make it here to video, like tips and tricks and tech news and other fun stuff like that. As always though, regardless, thanks for watching.